Hi, everybody. Um, some people are coming in, but we're gonna get started. And if you are comfortable with it, we'd love to see your lovely faces, so you can turn on your cameras. Okay, so my name is Daria. I'm a new member of the Niagara Leadership Summit Event Planning Committee, and I'm super excited today to represent the YW as we conclude this amazing 3-day event. So before we get going with the closing ceremonies, I'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we live and work is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledging reminds us that our great standard of living is directly related to the resources and the friendship of Indigenous people. And also, friendly reminder that everyone here deserves a safe space to participate and that our community guidelines are taking effect. So if you want to read those guidelines, you can read them under the Important Documents tab on EventMobi. And also reminder for Zoom etiquette, please keep your mic muted until we invite you to speak. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so now I'd like to officially welcome you to the Niagara Leadership Summit for Women 2021's closing ceremonies. Yay! Thank you so much for taking the time to join us one last time as we conclude the event and as we pledge to continue the work needed to promote women's leadership within the region and beyond. So we'll be covering a few things this evening. First, we'll have an icebreaker, a little trivia. That's always fun. Then we'll discuss some current examples of women's leadership around the world. We'll then hear from our executive director and our sponsors. We'll present to you a collage of your vision of Courage to Lead prior to attending the summit. And then we'll invite you to share on how you'll be a courageous leader this year. So who's ready for trivia? There's going to be a total of 5 questions. You can answer it. They're going to be live polls, and we're going to pull those up right now. Yes, good luck, everyone. Grace, are the questions going to pop up on my screen as well, or is it just for participants? Just so I know whether I should read them or not.
It's likely participants only. I'm not allowed to vote either.
Okay, that's perfect. That's okay. That'd be cheating anyway, you know, but
I know all the answers.
I know. Okay. Well, let us know if you need any assistance. Except we can't give you the answers. That's the only assistance we can't provide. Okay, I think we're going to give a little bit more time to people to answer, and then we'll share the results all together. Alrighty. So I think we have the results from everybody. I can't see them. Grace, do you have access to that?
I do. So
Okay.
everyone should be able to see the results on their screen now. I see Kristen nodding her head. So the correct answer regarding the work of the YW was all of the above. So you might have learned that the YW offers supports for survivors of human trafficking and skills development program for youth and adults. So we're quite busy here at the YW, but we're also proud to host the summit. For question 2, how many years has the Leadership Summit been running? The majority of folks got it correct. We are in our 8th year. But I am so thrilled that 16% of us thought we were in our, or 9% of us thought we were in our 11th year. So like, we'll see you in shortly in like 3 years from now. What is inclusive leadership? Obviously, inclusive leadership is different for everyone. So the answer is all of the above. Looks like 97% of folks got that spot on.
Good job, guys.
What is the top percentage of women holding the highest paid positions in Canada's top 100 companies? 44% of folks voted for 5.2%. Daria, is that the right answer?
No, the answer is actually C, 8.5. Surprisingly low, but you know, we're working on it. So it's in the works.
Wonderful. And for the final quiz question, what can we do to encourage more women towards leadership roles? At the YW, our answer was choice 1 and 3, offer leadership programs to women and girls, and run women-led leadership programs. So thank you everyone for participating in the quiz. If you got 5 out of 5, pat yourself on the back. If not, that's still okay.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, and now as promised, we're gonna talk about some current events, current examples in women's leadership. As some of you know, women have fought for centuries to hold important roles in sports, politics, sciences, business, health, and more. And so here are a few examples we wanted to touch on today. So our first example is Naomi Osaka. I don't know if I'm sure some of you know her. She's a multi-talented woman who happens to also be one of the best tennis players in the world. And she showed the world that it was okay to do things on your own terms when she chose not to take part in any press conferences during the French Open. She did get a lot of backlash for it, but she still upholds her mental health protective measures, and she's doing great. So yay for Naomi. And then we have our second example, which is surrounding
Did you ever end up finding that part for your car? No, still not, eh?
Sorry, Alexis, do you mind if we mute you? Thank you.
Okay. And so our second example, as I was saying, was it's surrounding politics and female leaders. So as we know, success in politics is often framed differently based on gender. And so we wanted to touch on some women who proved throughout the COVID-19 pandemic that leadership in politics is about more than gender. And so we're talking about Nicola Sturgeon, Sylvia Jacobs, Arne Solberg, Angela Merkel, and so many more. And speaking of COVID, we know that the impact of the pandemic has been damaging on many levels. And so this is why the UN Women decided to focus on putting women's leadership at the center of the COVID-19 recovery. And so they're launching a feminist plan for sustainability and social justice. And that plan outlines how to use recovery from the COVID-19 crisis to better shape the world as a more gender equal and sustainable world. And a business example, another woman you should look into is Madhura Dasgupta, and she's a business leader and advocate of women's economic justice and rights. She's a firm believer in equal rights for all, and especially underrepresented communities. And she advocates for gender balanced workspace, financial inclusion, and financial literacy for women. And finally, we have science. Science is another domain where women sometimes lack opportunity. And so initiatives around the world have been designed to address that issue, one of those being Stars of Science. So Stars of Science is the Qatar Foundation TV initiative, and it's a show that invites hundreds of women, Arab women innovators to compete. And so with that show and this initiative, they strive to inspire Arab women to join the STEM field so they can broaden horizons and ensure sustainable development. So great initiatives, great examples of women's leadership. And speaking of women who use their leadership to change the world, let me introduce you our beloved Elizabeth Zimmerman. Elizabeth has worked for over 25 years in the nonprofit social services sector, and the last 15 years as executive director of the YWCA Niagara region. Her deep understanding of the importance of addressing issues of poverty and gender inequity has positioned the Y as a leader in addressing barriers with a feminist lens among community and government agencies. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Sometimes that unmute button takes forever to find. Well, thank you. Thank you. How thrilling it is to be here today and to see so many powerful women who are, committed to their own leadership development. Thank you so much for being a part of this day. And I'm going to just take a moment, as I know we'll be doing more, to thank all of the sponsors. This event is the work of many people. And I also want to give a shout out to Grace, who has been living, breathing this work for the last few months, and to her team for making this a really amazing event. It just is just always so powerful to be a part of this. And we've been excited. Grace led the transformation last year to this COVID environment and doing a virtual event. And we were so pleased with the success. Nobody thought we would be still thinking about virtual events a year later, but here we are. And so Grace, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you to your team for all the work that they've done to make this event happen. And thank you to all of you, the participants, for showing up and for going through the different workshops, and to all of the workshop leaders. This event is really a true testament to how when we come together, we can do amazing things. So it's really great to be here and to really have this, to be able to see it all in action. I'm really encouraged by the poll results to know that there's such a high percentage of you that understand what we do as an organization, our day-to-day work. And this is really what fuels so much of why this event is important. When we see on a day-to-day basis the women who are crossing our doorsteps and their families, that, the more we can support women to be in positions of leadership, the more we can support women who are in decision-making roles, it has a very significant impact on the social and community infrastructure and what kind of policies are in place. And also it's so powerful to be able to see yourself as young women represented in leadership positions. It just fuels that much more. I've been around the world long enough that I've seen lots of times when the impact has been that women haven't been in those positions, and it's had significant impact on how we view what kind of policies are made. And that's part of, I wanted to just pull up as that further sort of deepening of understanding of who we are as an organization, that our vision is an equitable society where women and families thrive. And our mission is to be the change agent for community transformation, ending gender inequity and social injustice. This event is really a testament to our mission and our vision. This is an opportunity to push forward that idea of being disruptors, of being change makers, change agents for that transformation in our communities. And so thank you all for being a part of this day, for your interest in the work of the YWCA. We could not do the work that we do without a community around us. And so I appreciate all of you being here and participating and just being part of this community movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Always nice to hear from you. And so this evening, we'll also be hearing from Teresa Bird, Chief Retail Officer from Penn Financial, an accomplished and versatile executive with experience in both large and small companies in the financial services industry. She has demonstrated track record across a broad range of disciplines, including retail sales leadership, operations, business transformation and technology, and is also a volunteer board member known for championing diversity, board accountability, and governance. She's highly respected and sought out for her innovative thinking, ability to drive change, execution with results, and her ability to develop talent. Welcome, Teresa.
Thanks, Daria. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I've thoroughly enjoyed the conference and the diversity of topics and speakers that we've had the benefit to hear from. I hope you have as well. I also wanted to commend the organizing committee for the work they've done to put together an impressive 3 days of content. No small feat, so thank you. Very, very well done. The pandemic has taught us to think differently about our priorities. It's redefined how we work and how we interact with one another, and it may have changed our view on what's most important to us. Through it, we have all shown tremendous agility and adaptability, and in many cases, we've learned that we're much stronger than we ever thought possible. I don't think I'm alone in saying that I've really surprised myself over the last year and a half. I'm much more flexible and resilient than I knew, even at times when I was being pushed to the limits. Through the past 18 plus months, we've all been faced with moments that challenge our ability as a leader. Whether that was through the pivot to working remotely while still motivating our teams, leading our peers through uncharted territory as we reacted to the changing environment, through becoming supplemental teachers and role models for our children, or simply working harder than ever to stay connected to the ones we love when the serendipitous opportunities for human connection disappeared. If you're like me, you've learned that having the courage to lead may now have a new meaning and a new importance. Your courage may come from leading a team. It might be having the courage to put your own needs first so you can be a better leader to others, or it might be something even more personal for you. The point is that we're all inherently leaders, whether we know it or not. We're stronger than we may have believed, and we have the power to influence change. From micro moments that help make someone's day better, such as supporting a local frempreneur, to igniting bigger movements that impact our bigger communities by becoming involved with a cause that matters to us. At Penn Financial, we have an unwavering commitment to leadership in our local community, one we held strong and topped up through COVID, recognizing that many of our neighbors needed an extra hand during an incredibly difficult time. To us, this is leadership. We do this through committing to pay all our employees a living wage, always. We're a certified B Corporation, which means we've made a commitment to using business as a force for good, and we use this mindset to guide all our business decisions. We also give back 10% of our pre-tax profits back into the community each year. In 2021, this will amount to almost $200,000 directly back into the community. At the grassroots level, we've encouraged all of our employees to give to their community through participation in our Truly Local Ambassador program by volunteering with a local charity of their choosing. We've also recently announced that all of our locations are bullfrog powered, meaning we've made a commitment to reduce our impact on the environment by choosing green electricity and green natural gas for all of our locations. Our employees are proud of this commitment, and it helps to unite our teams toward a common goal. While we are strong, our impact can be significant, and we all feel good about the work we're doing right here in Niagara. As you find your leadership voice, I encourage all of you to find ways to align with other individuals and/or companies that hold similar values to your own, because finding meaning in what we do has never been so important. Thank you for having us, and thank you for allowing Penn Financial to participate.
Thank you so much, Teresa. We're thrilled to have Penn Financial return to the summit as our presenting sponsor this year. Thank you again. And we'd also like to thank all of our other sponsors, and that includes the City of St. Catharines, Lake and Associates, the City of Welland, Mainstream, Gateway, Karen Burt and Associates, Your TV, Giant FM, Country 89, the City of Port Colborne, Zonta Club of Niagara Falls, and Zonta Club of St. Catharines. Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to pull off such an amazing event without all of your help. So thank you so much to everybody for sponsoring and attending. And so now we have something to show you all. As promised, we took the time to compile your answers on what Courage to Lead meant to you before you attended the summit. So here's what it looked like. We have a little slideshow to show you all. Alrighty. I hope you guys like this little collage. We were very excited to put it together and present it to you guys. And so after attending 3 days of inspiring sessions on courage and leadership, we'd like to know what Courage to Lead means to you now, and how you'll be courageous in your leadership this year. And so we'd like you to come up with a pledge to yourself and your leadership journey. And in order to do that, we've come up with 3 questions for you to answer. Those 3 questions are going to be posted in the chat, and feel free to share by unmuting or by typing it in the chat. We'll be reading some of them. So we'll give a little bit of time for everybody to read those questions and answer them. And then we'll share. For me, I'd like to share my pledge with you guys, of course. For the first question, I think I am a leader now, and as I'm a courageous and caring leader. And in the future, I want to be a leader that people feel comfortable around, and I want to be a leader that people can trust and can go to. In terms of the second question, as an example, of course, courageous leadership in my life looks like waking up every day with the will to better myself and to help the people around me. And then a step that I can take today to empower women in my community, I would say that continuing to volunteer at the YW is a step that I can take today and that I plan on taking in the future to empower women and families in our community. So, thank you, everybody. Again, if you'd like to share, you can share in the chat or by unmuting.
I'd like to share. It's Sarah.
Go ahead.
I am currently a compassionate leader, but I pledge to keep helping women in their journey, to help lifting women up, and to keep fighting for equality in women in leadership. I pledge to recognize failure or mistakes as an opportunity to better myself and learn, and do so with courage.
Thank you, Sarah. We also have Karen Burt in the chat saying, my step to empower women in my community by focusing my leadership coaching on women. I volunteer my services to young women developing their careers. Thank you so much for that. Anybody else would like to share?
I would share.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm a strong leader today, and I would like to be a leader who stops and listens. In my life, leadership today means standing for those who can't, and hopefully that will continue. And how will I help in the future? I will share. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Angie. That's very good. Who'd like to go next? Oh, go ahead, Kristen. Oh, you're muted.
Of course I am muted. Okay. Anyways, I consider myself a kind and generous leader, and moving forward, I would like to extend the reach of that to include those who need their voices amplified, who need a platform to which to share their leadership or leadership opportunities. Courage, leading by courage for me is showing up when I don't have all of the answers and being able to draw on those around me who know best, or who are also learning as well. And I think the one step that I can take to promote women in leadership is to provide a safe space for all of us to learn and to make mistakes, to do that together.
Thank you. Oh, I don't see all the hands. So if I don't get you, please unmute and speak. But I think Shauna is next.
I was just clapping.
Oh, no way. That's great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share? I think that's Lori. If you'd like to go ahead, then go ahead. No worries.
Thank you. I just want to say how much I also enjoyed the sessions over the last 3 days and seeing everyone. I guess I want to attack the second question when we're talking about what does courageous leadership look like in my life. I guess for myself, it's not backing down in times when I feel like I need to push harder, regardless of how I'm going to be received by perhaps some colleagues. I think that's the biggest one for me. I think what courageous leadership looks like. And the third question, a step I can take, just trying to be as open as I can and as approachable as I can be to help others in the community maybe they want to run for politics or they have questions about politics. That's really where I just want to see more women running and more women in politics. So that's a step that I can make to help empower women that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Yes, it's very important to stand your ground, and encouraging the women around you is, thank you. I see there's a few hands up. Again, I can't see all the hands, so you can go right ahead and unmute.
I'll go. It's Cassie here. So I would say that I'm an empathetic leader at the moment, and I want to be bold and courageous moving forward. I think courageous leadership looks similar to what Lori was saying, is about not being afraid to take risks, make difficult decisions, but also be humble and vulnerable, which I think takes a lot of courage to be humble and vulnerable. And then finally, working with, I work with the Niagara Region Women's Advisory Committee. We're hoping to get a grant that will help with some of these things and encourage more women to get into local leadership. And also personally encouraging young female leaders. I think really taking young women under your wings and being able to encourage them from as little as they are is a really important way that we can do it, even as parents or caregivers or even community members.
Thank you, Cassie. I believe Melissa, you can go right ahead.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Melissa McGlashan from Welland. And well, before coming here, I would say I was someone who leads by example. And going forward, I'd like to be even more courageous in how I put myself out there. But what we can do to, or what compassionate leadership or courage to lead means to me is actually something that came up in several of the sessions that I took part in, was building trust and safe spaces in order for people to follow your lead. Because if they don't feel safe and if they don't have trust, you're not going anywhere. And actually that is the answer to question 3 for how we can actually reach out to more women, is to create more trusting spaces and safe spaces for them to put themselves forward. And I think actually that's something that on some level I've been doing, but now that I've come to the summit and heard it put that way, it's something I can be even more thoughtful about going forward. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for speaking, and thank you for participating. We're really glad that we can make an impact with this event. That's the meaning of it all, right? Anybody else would like to share?
I'm going to try to step in here. I'm Bernie Slepkoff from St. Catharines. At one point, I tried to lead by inspiration and vision. And someone once said about St. Catharines in particular that we had a problem in our city because people who tend to stick their necks out got their heads chopped off. And yeah. And so I think that's something that I recognized had happened to me many times. So you had to have the courage to stick your neck out and be prepared to have it lopped off. But I don't want to say all was lost. I think some of my vision and some of my inspiration fell in the right places and had somewhat of an impact. And yeah, so that's what leading by courage meant for me.
Thank you so much, Bernie. I'd like to offer the floor one last time before we move on. If anyone would like to share. Oh, we have a comment by Vicky. She says, my biggest takeaway with the summit is a challenge and or pledge to myself to explore, question, and think outside of the box when it comes to traditional societal and cultural expectations. I would like to lead with a sense of inquisitive and respectful nature in order to shift to a more inclusive environment in all aspects of my life. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the chat. Jane also shared, one second. I'm struggling. Okay, she says, as a courageous leader, I pledge to develop and empower others and reflect on how I can expand support and coaching. I will continue to volunteer with the Narrow Poverty Reduction Committee to educate others about living wage and inspire other employees to implement a living wage which directly improves the lives of others, including women. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful comments. Okay. I think, yes, lovely pledges. Everybody who shared, whether chat or Mike, thank you so much. And so before you get out in the world and try to run your courage to lead, we'd love to hear from you. So we've prepared a survey to get feedback for this year's summit. You can head over to the feedback tab on Event Mobi, and the survey will be available for 1 week. And in case you need any assistance with finding the survey or answering it, you can contact support. And also, don't forget to stay in touch as you grow in your leadership. You can always reach us on the Niagara Leadership Summit website and on our socials. We should have all the details for you in the chat. And we'd like to take a picture with everybody if that's okay with everyone. So if you'd like to turn on your cameras so we can take a picture, that'd be lovely. Grace, I'm assuming you're going to be taking that because I'm not sure how to do that.
For sure. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to find that, turn on the camera button, because it'd be so nice to show everyone who's attending the closing ceremonies. Yes. Obviously, only if you're comfortable.
Of course.
Do you really see everybody? Because mine is broken up into screens that I have to like scroll through.
Yes, that's the same for me, but there will be more than one picture.
That's amazing. Right. That's amazing. That just shows how many people actually showed up, and we're very grateful for that.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for turning on your camera. Smile wide, maybe say summit or something fun like that. Sorry about that. So many buttons. All right. 3, 2, 1, summit. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you for that, Grace. I would like to just, if you give me 1 second, I'm just going to share these items in the chat. Again, that's the information to reach us either through the Niagara Leadership Summit platforms or the YWCA. Oh, the format looks a little bit wonky. Give me 1 second. Sure. I don't know. I don't think I fixed it, but it's okay. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. So thank you, everybody, for joining. This concludes the Niagara Leadership Summit for Women 2021 Courage to Lead. But leadership doesn't end here. So our work continues at the Y, and you can support that work and the YW and its women's leadership development mission by keeping up with our work, becoming a volunteer, becoming a monthly donor, or just by being your courageous self and empowering the women around you. Thank you, everyone, and you have a great evening. And please don't forget to lead with courage.